Another front row start, isn't it, Steve? How many times have we said that he's been on that front row of the grid? Marc Marquez, astonishing record. 27 of his last 29 front row starts he's turned into podiums, and 50 of those 54 wins in MotoGP, which ties him with Aussie legend Mick Doohan in the Premier class. They have come from the front row. Normally, when we find him inside that top three on a Sunday afternoon, he gets the job done and is soaking up a bit of Prosecco post-race.
11 wins it would be later on if he can wrap that up. 140 kilometres northwest of where we are, the great city of Melbourne.
And who can forget those scenes? 30 years since the Australian Grand Prix hit these shores south of Melbourne. 1989, Wayne Gardner taking an emotional and memorable first ever Australian Grand Prix victory here in Phillip Island. It's a city that's cosmopolitan. It's a city that loves its sport. Of course, the Australian Open Tennis Championship takes part here in Melbourne. Simon Crayford's got Marc Marquez on the grid. We can pop straight down to him.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, of course. I mean, today is a different day, but of course the conditions are a little bit tricky, especially about tricky. I mean, choose the correct option. The rear option, we are not sure if go with the soft or with the hard rear. I mean, is there where will be a very important point of the race. But yeah, I mean, the speed of Yamaha are unbelievable, so we will try to follow them. If it's not possible, try to finish in the podium. Good luck, mate. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks very much to Marc Marquez. Thanks to Simon Crayford. What a sight ahead of the 400th Grand Prix of Valentino Rossi. JB down on the grid, embracing the old boy Valentino Rossi.
Cool. Those two had a fair old successful relationship together. Rossi 400, hashtag Rossi 400 on social media. You can let us know your fondest memories of the Italian's great career. Can he find a way to get back on the podium in that 400th landmark Grand Prix? He has not been inside the top three now, Rossi, in the last 13 races until he raced Alex Rins close to the win at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, way back in April.
Not even Cal Crutchlow knows what he's got in store on a Sunday at the moment. It seems a bit hit and miss in MotoGP, but he's victorious here before. Let's get down on the grid then. A huge home race for Jack Miller. So many fans pin their hopes on him. Let's go down on the grid. Simon's with Jack.
Kind of. This Wayne Gardner's come to say hello to him. So as soon as Wayne's finished giving him the best wishes for the upcoming race, here he is. Jack, I don't want to put any more pressure on you. I only want to know what you believe the important pieces of the puzzle to put together to get a result are today.
Tyre. The way I manage the tyre, I think, is going to be the most key factor today's race. You know, it's a long race here. In the past, I've ridden it. I've been stuck that last couple of laps with no rear tyre, so the biggest thing is just saving it to the end. A lot of the guys are now swapping to the softer option. We're sticking with the hard, and hopefully it's the right choice.
We'll be cheering for you, Jack.
Cheers, Simon. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks to Simon. Really appreciate Jack Miller. It's a high-pressure environment, certainly home Grand Prix down on the grid. Great to hear from Jack Miller. He is sticking with that hard rear tyre. Just about to speak to another very familiar face to those of you around the world, former Grand Prix winner Chris Vermeulen, now of course working for Fox Sports TV down here in Australia. Marc Marquez, he was really torn, wasn't he? I mean, what we've got about, when we spoke to Marquez, about 14 minutes to the off, so less time to make that crucial tyre choice, torn between the soft and the hard. A lot of crucial last-minute decisions being taken down on the grid.
Dovizioso went out on the hard this morning in the warm-up. Here are the 12 Apostles. There's really some beautiful stuff to see over in this part of the world. We love coming to Australia. What will the weather do here, though? At the moment, it looks all right, Matt. It has to be said from our commentary box window, it looks like we're going to be okay, but things change really quickly here.
Yeah, they really do. What's Andrea Dovizioso going to go for? Will it be soft or hard on that rear tyre for him? Andrea Iannone has had a really good weekend. It started in typical fashion, a brush with some local wildlife. Who could forget his seagull hit in 2015, that classic Phillip Island battle, a kangaroo encounter at turn 4 in FP1, but an excellent performance in qualifying by the Italian. He's going to start from a season best 8th place, and of course he loves Phillip Island. A podium here previously for Ducati, a podium here last year in 2018 on the factory Suzuki, and he's also been on the podium in Moto2 as well. So the 30-year-old has a pretty strong love affair with Phillip Island.
Dovizioso, strangely enough, is only 14 points shy of his total from last year when he finished runner-up.
Yeah, if you're wondering about who those other 9 riders were to reach 100 podiums, it's a pretty illustrious list. Rossi, Ago, Pedrosa, Lorenzo, Angel Nieto, Marc Marquez, Phil Reed, Mike Hailwood and Max Biaggi. He's keeping some pretty decent company there, is Andrea Dovizioso. Dorna CEO Carmelo Espeleta on the grid ahead of this Australian Grand Prix with some of the local dignitaries and officials. Alex Rins, 12th and last in this morning's Q2. We know the Suzuki's super strong around this Phillip Island circuit. It's tailor-made for the Suzuki strengths. Its sweet handling chassis suits those high-speed corners perfectly, as we'll break off for the Australian national anthem.
Advance Australia Fair, the national anthem, here ahead of the Grand Prix in Phillip Island. Fabio Quartararo is going for another podium. It's going to be hard work, though, as Matt rightly said, the hardest Grand Prix of his career so far. What does Wilco Zeelenberg think about his men's chances in Australia? He's on the grid with Simon.
Wilco, what Fabio did earlier today in that qualifying with lack of track time, with the injury, honestly to me was astonishing. He's so fast. I'd like to know, with the injury, what you think the possibilities are of him being strong all the way to the end.
Yeah, it's a very difficult question because nobody knows. I know how his ankle looks and how painful it is. So, every point I think at this moment is a valuable one if you look at Friday morning. But you never know. If these guys are in their mojo and then can challenge with the top guys, you never know how it goes. But as I said, I will be happy when he finishes the race and gets good points home.
And while I have you, I have to ask about Franco. He's been really strong in the last race. What about today? What do you think?
Yeah, this morning he struggled a bit. We had some problem with the front tire in qualifying, so he's a bit back up to the grid. But we know he has a better pace than basically he's on the position now. So expecting him to come forwards. The question is how far forwards, and we also know his tire degradation is always a little bit more than Fabio's one. So I hope they will run together probably for a while.
Wilco, thank you and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks very much to Wilco Zeelenberg. It will be an interesting race for Fabio Quartararo and Franco Morbidelli. Of course, a huge home race for the team coming up next week in Sepang in Malaysia.
So Marc Marquez on the grid. Has he decided to stick with that soft rear tyre which he came to the grid, or has he had a late change of heart? Will he go on to that hard rear tyre? 6 in MotoGP appearances here, 4 times he's DNF'd, crashed out the lead in 2014 and out of the lead in 2016.
Simon Crafar reporting down on the grid that it's actually feeling quite hot down there at the moment. The sun is shining, but you just can't predict what's going to happen here. Here's Pol Espargaro. It looks like a tough afternoon ahead for the Spanish rider. 27 laps coming up from 17th on the grid. It's great to see Mika Kallio on the grid at all. He got up from a big crash in qualifying earlier at turn 1, Matt.
Yeah, that was a big smash at Durham Corner, wasn't it, for Kallio? Second wave back in the 2006 125cc race to Alvaro Bautista, the day that Bautista was crowned champion.
Marc Marquez is the world champion, but still plenty to tie up here in MotoGP. The battle for second, the battle for third. 3 races to go in MotoGP.
Welcome to Phillip Island. Expect the unexpected.
Look at Lorenzo! Oh, Andrea, the unbelievable from the Italian. Wow. And Marquez goes for the victory. What a last lap. Rossi on the brake, got through on Dovizioso. Marquez has crashed at turn number 4. Cal Crutchlow wins here in Australia. Oh, there's a touch there between Zarco and Marquez at turn number 4. Side by side they come. Rossi on the brake, they touch. Almost touch. Marquez wins a magnificent race here in Australia. Here comes Zarco.
That's aggressive by Zarco.
Marquez! Crash!
Zarco.
Viñales wins finally here in Phillip Island.
We're getting ready to race then here in Australia. Who will dominate down under? Maverick Viñales is on pole position ahead of this 17th round of 2019. Here's your front row. Marc Marquez will start from 3rd, the world champion, the rookie of the year. Fabio Quartararo lines up 2nd on the grid, and on pole position, looking for win number 2 of the season, it is going to be the Rocket Maverick Viñales. You can see there the tyre options that have been made. It's soft for Maverick Viñales. Medium front, hard rear for Quartararo. He's hardly done any laps. Has he done any laps on that hard rear? That's a gamble. So interesting times ahead here in Australia for the Grand Prix of Phillip Island.
Wayne Gardner won the first Australian Grand Prix at Phillip Island in 1989. 30 years later, who will triumph in 2019? Starting from pole position, last year's race winner Maverick Viñales on the front row with Fabio Quartararo and world champion Marc Marquez. Valentino Rossi ahead of his 400th Grand Prix start heads row 2. Alicia Spargo and Andrea Iannone, the first time this year the two factory Aprilias have been inside the top 10. They're on row 3 with home crowd hero Jack Miller, Dovizioso, Morbidelli and Alex Rins. They're on the 4th row. Row 5 led by the rookie Joan Mir. Johan Zarco making his Honda debut in place of Taka Nakagami. He's on that 5th row with Pecco Bagnaia, Abraham, Polispargo and Mika Kallio make up your 6th row. Further down the order on the back row of the grid, row number 7, Jorge Lorenzo, Hafi Cyrene and Tito Rabat.
Some interesting tyre decisions made here by the MotoGP riders as we get underway with the warm-up lap here in Australia. Saw there, Andrea Dovizioso has gone for that hard rear tyre. There's a dark cloud forming over towards Sector 1. Let's get the thoughts of how Ducati think they might go today. Davide Tardozzi is down with Simon Crafar.
Davide, this is one of the hardest races for me to predict what's going to happen. I want to know your feelings on the Ducatis today.
Yeah, for sure Yamaha will be very fast with the soft tire on the back, but I'm quite surprised about the soft tire on Marc Marquez. We put the hard because we are considering that we can have a good advantage in the end of the race.
Hey, good luck.
Thank you.
400 Grand Prix starts for the Doctor, Valentino Rossi. Has he got something special in store for us here in Australia?
40 years of age now, Rossi, but he's still got the hunger, the passion, the desire and the commitment to be racing at the top level in MotoGP. Has he got the speed here today, though, to mark that 400th Grand Prix with his first podium in 13 Grand Prix? It would be another landmark achievement for Rossi. 90th win, still he eludes him. Dutch TT 2017. Marc Marquez today can be outright the 3rd most successful rider in MotoGP history. Only Giacomo Agostini and Valentino Rossi have won more races in the Premier class than the Repsol Honda man.
Something always happens here in Phillip Island. Just under 35,000 fans here today to find out who's victorious on the 17th round of the MotoGP World Championship. As we said earlier, on paper, Maverick Viñales looks like he's in control. He's keeping himself cool and calm as well, and they are the last 3 winners. Viñales, Marquez, Crutchlow.
Soft rear tyre then for Viñales. Is he going to try and escape? Is he going to try and bolt and open up a gap like he did here 1 year ago when he took the Australian Grand Prix from the 2 Andreas, Iannone and Dovizioso?
Chapter 17. Who will be the Wizard of Oz? The green flag waves. We're ready to go racing here. It's all eyes on the lights in the top left corner. The Australian Grand Prix is underway. Good start there from Fabio Quartararo. Marc Marquez did not get away actually so well. He's already being swallowed up. Cal Crutchlow coming through as well. Who's going to get the whole shot? Into turn one, look at Iannone. Crutchlow is first. Here comes Rossi. Rossi leads.
Rossi a sweeping wide line through Dewan corner on his 400th Grand Prix start. Valentino Rossi leads here in Filipino. Quartararo's down. That was a factory Ducati. It was Petrucci. Huge high side for Petrucci at the southern loop, and he's taken Quartararo down as well. Early drama here in Australia, but Rossi leads. Iannone third.
Unbelievable stuff here as they come in towards turn four. Rossi leads then, number 46 from Cal Crutchlow. Iannone third. Marquez in fourth. The other Aprilia there of Aleix Espargaro in fifth. What drama here. What a massive high side from Danilo Petrucci.
Not the first time this season we've seen on the very first lap drama between Quartararo and a factory Ducati rider. It's Quartararo that crashed at the first corner in Silverstone and took out Andrea Dovizioso. This time Petrucci high sides, not enough heat in that tyre. High siding takes Quartararo down with him. What a start though by Rossi. He toughed it out, braved it out through Dewan corner, and he's already opened up a lead of over 0.6 of a second. Rossi from Crutchlow. Marquez got a really, really poor start, and Iannone got a dream start. He's still in that third place on the factory Aprilia.
What an opening lap of his 400th Grand Prix this is from Valentino Rossi. Crutchlow, the 2016 winner then, up into second place. Iannone, he was second here last year on that factory Aprilia. What a job he's doing, and Marc Marquez then in fourth place. Tardozzi believes that it was a gamble going for a soft rear tyre for Marquez. We'll find out whether that's the case shortly.
So the old warrior, the old warhorse Valentino Rossi leads at the end of lap one here in Australia, just under 0.3 clear of Cal Crutchlow. Iannone still keeping Marquez at bay. Two Aprilias inside the top five. Aleix Espargaro in fifth spot. Viñales did not have a good first lap from pole position. This is the moment involving Petrucci and Quartararo.
Yeah, he's gone in wide, trying to go around the outside there of Marc Marquez. He's out quite wide, and then he's just asked a bit too much from the rear end. And poor old Fabio Quartararo, who was wide himself.
Quartararo actually was going to be running on the grass himself. Quartararo was pushed out wide at the southern loop. Quartararo actually was just about to hit the grass anyway. He was going to be upright. Petrucci's just going to launch himself skywards. There was a bit of contact, a minimal bit of a nudge there from Marc Marquez. Nothing intentional. It just pushed Petrucci out that little bit wider, perhaps onto a dirty part of the circuit. He lost the rear. Quartararo was already out wide. Nothing he could do about it. Petrucci and Quartararo down and out. Rossi still leading.
Vicious high side for Petrucci there. Good start from Pol Espargaro, by the way. He's made up 7 places in 10th. We're on board here with Viñales. He's not made a great start. He's desperate now to find a way past Aleix Espargaro. We know he's got the pace, but he sometimes struggles to get past people in the early laps.
Was not a good first lap at all for Maverick Viñales with that soft rear tyre as well. He wanted to get the good start and try and break away like he did last year. First time this season Petrucci will not see the checkered flag. His first DNF since Valencia last year. It's still Rossi that's making the headway. Is he about to be swallowed up on the brakes into turn one by Cal Crutchlow? We know the Honda's got the top speed advantage on the Yamaha, but Rossi stands firm, and Iannone still keeping Marquez at bay. What a performance by Andrea Iannone. Can he make it? Incredibly, 3 podiums on 3 different MotoGP bikes. He's under severe pressure here from Marc Marquez, but he loves Philip Islanders. Andrea Iannone, podiums on the Ducati, podiums on the Suzuki, and fighting for the podium on the Aprilia. Outstanding performance.
Further back, Miller, the Australian, in 7th. Rins, fastest man on circuit, he's in 8th. Dovi 9th. Pol Espargaro 10th. Marquez up the inside of Iannone then. He moves up into 3rd place on the brakes into turn 4.
And everybody now starting to gang up on Valentino Rossi as they sweep through Siberia for the 3rd time of asking. There is Alex Rins. He's got Andrea Dovizioso right on the rear tyre of his factory Suzuki. Alex Rins, next in his eye line is Jack Miller, who's in 7th place. Quickest man again on that last lap was Rins, a 1:29.990, about 0.3 quicker than your race leader Rossi.
We know that he's got great pace, Alex Rins, but he's always giving himself so much work to do. He's tried to find a way past his buddy Jack Miller at the moment. Crutchlow thought about a move then.
Nice by Viñales on the inside of Aleix Espargaro, and Iannone's fought back. He's taken that 3rd place back from Marc Marquez. Those two have had some serious duels down the years, both in Moto2 and in MotoGP. Andrea Iannone giving as good as he's getting against Marc Marquez. Viñales then has found a way through Aleix Espargaro, the pole man and last year's race winner 5th.
What a job from the Aprilia riders as we hear from Marc Marquez. He's trying to find a way through. Jack Miller, fastest lap of the race.
Crutchlow leads. Cal Crutchlow's hit the front then. He wasn't even in the Grand Prix at this stage last weekend, Cal Crutchlow.
Look at Iannone.
Up the inside of Valentino Rossi, Andrea Iannone. This is unbelievable. We've never seen this from the factory Aprilia. Iannone up in a second place. Rossi picked up by Crutchlow. He leads, and Andrea Iannone now wins second.
Do not adjust your sets. It's a Honda leading from an Aprilia, then a Yamaha in third. Into the brakes. Oh, Iannone then. I thought he was going to try and go around the outside. He's second then still from Crutchlow, just up ahead of him. Here is Valentino Rossi in third. Marc Marquez in fourth. Maverick Viñales now trying to charge through on him.
The top 9 covered by less than 1.5 seconds. It's MotoGP meets Moto3 here in Phillip Island. Crutchlow sweeps through turn 7. He attacks the old hayshed, turn number 8. Under pressure from Iannone. Rossi still not been able to retaliate on his fellow Italian. Viñales now hounding Marc Marquez, but there's no way through yet as they come over Lukey Heights and drop down to turn 10. Iannone's going for it on the brakes, up the inside of Cal Crutchlow, and an Aprilia in the hands of Andrea Iannone leads a MotoGP race. Surely that's the first time that's ever happened.
The maniac is going to come around the final corner and lead the Australian Grand Prix. Maverick Viñales has gone through on Marc Marquez as well, so Marquez now pumped back to 5th. What an opening to this race we've had so far. As we go across the line, he will lead. It is Andrea Iannone, but look at Cal.
Something must have happened there to Iannone. The Honda didn't just blitz by there. I mean, I wonder whether Iannone perhaps just made a small mistake, but Crutchlow hits the front again. What a race we've got so far. Viñales now trying to sweep around the outside, then the inside of Marc Marquez. Rossi's out wide at the southern loop. Marc Marquez pounces. There was only a yard there to be taken, but Marquez took it. He's up in a third place now, so 2 Hondas inside the top 3. It's down to 1.1 seconds now, the gap between that top 9. It is Moto3 and MotoGP.
Yeah, Jack Miller wants a piece of this action as well. He's coming through. Here comes a move into turn 4. Nicely done that from Marc Marquez, and Rossi moves up ahead of Viñales as well.
Yeah, Rossi really toughed it out on the brakes into turn 4 against Viñales. The problem is Viñales has got the inside line now into Siberia, and Viñales now does take that place, so he's now top. Yamaha in 4th place. Dovizioso at the moment has not been able to make a way through on the likes of Rins, Miller and Aleix Espargaro. Aleix Espargaro is doing a brilliant job. Here's the factory Aprilia team. They are pinching themselves. They can't believe this. They've never been in this position.
They've got a couple of nosebleeds here. They're so high up. This is delicious so far in Phillip Island. What a race we've got here in store. Crutchlow leads, Marquez second, Iannone third, then it's Viñales and Rossi. Big question as well, will the weather have its say on things here?
Cal Crutchlow was your race winner here in 2016. His season ended in excruciatingly painful fashion, a crash in FP2 at the Durham corner last year. But Crutchlow's going to lead over the line to start lap number 6. His lead over Marquez just over 10th and a half. Oh, Aleix Espargaro is going to attack Valentino Rossi into the Durham corner, and he makes that move stick. Rossi being picked off at this stage of the race. Has he already hit some of those age-old rear tyre problems that have caused him to drop and fade over the last few Grand Prix?
Struggling to hold a line. We've got 2 Aprilias in the top 5.
Massimo Rivola can't believe it. He is going to be pinching himself. The Aprilia Racing Chief Executive Officer. His 2 men are performing way above and beyond the call of duty here. And Iannone now strikes back on Marquez. That's tight into turn 4. He's nabbed that inside line though. Breathtaking by Iannone. Pinches second back from Marquez. This was not in the script.
No, and this is the reason why they signed Andrea Iannone, because when he wants to, he can be brilliant. And he is at the moment.
He's showing his true class here. He has always said throughout this very, very difficult season, you put a motorcycle underneath me that's competitive and capable of fighting at the front, I will put it right there. And he's been true to his word so far here in Phillip Island. Brilliant.
Well, we've got all the big hitters in play here, and they're all packing in a punch. Here's Viñales, then he's about to go up the inside, or at least look at Marc Marquez, but no, they stay put for now. Crutchlow, Iannone, Marquez, Viñales, then it's Aleix Espargaro, Rossi, Rins, Dovi, Miller.
Quickly coming back to the turn 2 incident on lap 1 with Petrucci and Quartararo. They're going to be painful consequences because they were big clashes, but the consequences for 3rd place in the championship, Steve. Quartararo and Petrucci were both fighting for that 3rd place, and with Viñales, Rossi and Rins still out there, that's a big blow for them.
Costly for those guys as Marquez goes through then on Andrea Iannone, and whilst those 2 tussle, it's just given Cal Crutchlow the tiniest bit of breathing space. Further back, Rins is through on Valentino Rossi now as well, and Dovi wants a piece of the action. Rossi just struggling on the last couple of laps.
Yeah, he is. Valentino Rossi now has dropped back into the clutches of the 2 Ducati GP19s, Dovizioso and Miller. And with the speed and the slipstream down that Gardner straight, will the two Ducatis just blitz on by? Andrea Iannone up the inside of Viñales. He's doing an unbelievable job right now. He's lost that second place to Marc Marquez.
Here is Cal Crutchlow who leads from Marquez. There is Andrea Iannone, and there is Maverick Viñales, the man with the pace.
This big group battle, Steve, not a million miles behind Jack Miller, though, is Joan Mir. On that last lap, Mir was 0.4 of a second quicker than Jack Miller, 1.1 seconds behind he is. You can just see there Mir in the picture with Pecco Bagnaia for company. A quick check on Johan Zarco on his Honda debut. He's down in 13th place at the moment. Franco Morbidelli's having a bit of a shocker. He's 14th and nowhere near this lead battle. And Jorge Lorenzo at the moment, I'm afraid to say, mute button calling again for Lorenzo fans, not for the first time, because at the moment he's circulating in last place, 18th, and he's 2.3 seconds down on Happy Cyrene.
Maverick Viñales knows he's got the pace to break away, but he can't find a way through on Andrea Iannone in third right now as they come across the line. But look at the speed difference. Even the Aprilia looks slow compared to the Yamaha. There's a move there as Dovi goes through on Valentino Rossi, so Dovizioso is up into 7th place.
Cal Crutchlow turns 34 in the next couple of days. What a birthday boost this would be going into that special moment next week. He's still at the front of this Australian Grand Prix. Marquez trying to turn the wick up. Viñales, is he lining up a move now on the brakes of the turn number 4? He's going to use that corner speed of the Yamaha. He's got the inside line. Can he pinch it on the brakes upside the Aprilia man? He can. That was nicely done. He set that all up coming through the southern loop and stone a corner there, did Viñales. And Marquez has a good long look over his left shoulder coming out of turn 4, and he would have got a face full of the pole man and last year's race winner.
Yeah, they've had a face full of about 10 riders. He'll be thinking it's the opening lap still. Cal Crutchlow it is, though, the LCR rider, the winner here from 2016, who leads. It is Marc Marquez now in second, and Maverick Viñales, Matt, if he gets to the front, he could be one to watch. He's been gradually now pushing his way forward. He's now looking to focus on Marc Marquez. He's very close to him into turn 10.
Yeah, Maverick looking menacing, that's for sure. He's got Marc Marquez right in front of him now. We know that the Yamaha's probably not going to outstrip the Honda down the Gardner straight. It hasn't got the horsepower, it hasn't got the grunt. But he's got himself right back into this contention because he was, what, 6th or 7th at the end of the first lap. It was a poor first lap for Maverick Viñales, so they sweep down now. Nearly 350 kilometres an hour, a blur in 6th gear. Crutchlow now still holds sway.
That's the bike of Quartararo's just being wheeled back into the garage. It's not to be another podium for the number 20. Have a look at this again. Just watch Danilo Petrucci here on the outside. A little nudge.
You know what? There was a little bit of a nudge from Marquez, but Quartararo had already lost the rear going in. Quartararo, that's why Quartararo was caught up in this. Had he not lost the rear himself, that was a monster crash for Danilo Petrucci.
Maverick Viñales here trying to pounce on Marc Marquez, not quite squeezing through at turn 4.
Quartararo's own mistake made him the victim of Petrucci's mistake, unfortunately.
It's hard to keep your eyes off this, isn't it, at the moment? Valentino Rossi's gone back past Andrea Dovizioso, so the doctor's back up into 7th place now. Andrea Iannone still in there. We're on board here with Maverick Viñales as he tries to find a way through. This is his favourite sector on this circuit. He's surely going to have a look into turn 10 now on Marc Marquez, and does. Maverick Viñales, lovely, into turn 10. He goes up into 2nd.
That's all about corner speed and edge grip through turn 8 and then over loopy heights. Beautifully done that by Maverick Viñales. So now there's only one more opponent for him to deal with ahead of him, and that's Cal Crutchlow, who's been at the front of this Australian Grand Prix for quite some time now. The Brit who hasn't had a podium since the Sachsenring in Germany.
Maverick Viñales has gone for soft, remember. How much energy has he put through those Michelin tyres already? Just having to work through and pick off all of his rivals.
Well, he's got nothing to lose because he's not fighting for the championship because Marc's already won it, but he's taken a bit of a punt here because he's the only man out on that soft run.
Should be nobody that knows how it works better than him by now. He's been so fast in all the free practice sessions, and is he now weighing up a move on Cal Crutchlow? He's got brilliant corner speed around turn 3 as Maverick Viñales. He's going for the inside line into turn 4. Is he going to go through on Cal Crutchlow? He squeezes underneath. Maverick Viñales leads the Australian Grand Prix.
Brilliant edge grip, brilliant corner speed. He got that Yamaha on that soft front tyre, turning on a sixpence on the brakes into turn number 4. Now he's finally hit the front. Can Viñales break away? Lynn Jarvis, Yamaha Motor Racing MD, looks on.
This is the big question now for Maverick. Based on the pace we've seen, you'd suggest that he has got the pace as Marc Marquez goes through on Cal Crutchlow. Was there contact there between the two Honda riders? Iannone goes up into third as well. Cal there looked like he just sort of momentarily got pushed wide.
Something happened to Cal coming over Lukey Heights. He's managed to gather himself all back up. Let's have a look at this. It's Marquez up the inside of Crutchlow. There's not much room there at all. I'll tell you what, Cal, they're Honda colleagues and good mates, but Crutchlow is not going to be too impressed with that. There was an instant shake of the head. I mean, we know Marquez is not scared to get his elbows and knees out, but that was a bit on the edge.
Coming through, said Marc Marquez, and I would imagine that Cal was not too impressed at all with that.
That's definitely not proceeding with caution. That was super aggressive from Marc Marquez. You just wondered, though, whether Marquez, he got the hint. He knew that Viñales, once Viñales had hit the front, he was going to try and go. He was going to try and bolt. And you can see straight away Viñales is doing just that. Marquez, he just got impatient there. He didn't want to see Maverick clear off, and that's why he had to rush the move and make it a little bit rash and hurried on Cal Crutchlow. Otherwise, the time lost may have been crucial time that would have cost him the chance to fight with Viñales.
Yeah, well, Viñales now is trying to turn up the wick. A 129.7 from Maverick Viñales. That's faster than anyone else has been able to manage all weekend.
Got to give a massive shout out to Pecco Bagnaia, Steve. There were only 3 rides on that last lap in the 129s. Viñales, Marquez and the Ducati rookie. He's actually taken Joan Mir and he's hunting down his teammate Jack Miller at the moment. Excellent ride this by Bagnaia.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Just a bit wide there, down into turn 10 was Andrea Iannone, and yet he is still there. He's just up ahead of his teammate Aleix Espargaro. The two Aprilias still inside the top 5. Then it's Alex Rins and Rossi, Dovi, Miller, Bagnaia.
Yeah, this top 3 are starting to break away, aren't they? Nobody can get through on Andrea Iannone. I'm not saying he's a rolling robot right now, but he hasn't got the pace to go with Crutchlow. Viñales and Marquez exchange fastest laps of the race. They have dropped the hammer right down. Marquez a 129.409. That's 0.3 quicker than the previous best lap set by Viñales on the last circuit. Crutchlow desperately trying to go with them. He's just on a 129.4 as well. So Cal Crutchlow also, like Marquez on that last lap, was slightly quicker than Maverick Viñales.
The times that Marquez has been beaten this season, he's been very close in second. He does not want to be beaten here today by Maverick Viñales as they break into turn 4. Rossi goes up the inside of Aleix Espargaro. He can see Alex Rins picking his way through the Aprilias here as well.
2 men in this lead group, or what was the lead group, who've made absolutely no inroads whatsoever, have been Andrea Dovizioso and Jack Miller. They've kind of been at the back of this battle since its entirety.
Well, you know, Jack said he wants to save a bit of tyre. Is he just consuming at the moment and just thinking about things, watching all these guys and thinking maybe I'll get the better of them in the latter stages?
Got to give some credit to Cal Crutchlow. He regrouped brilliantly after that big tap from Marc Marquez at Lukey Heights. He's hunting down the top 2 men ahead of him. We're on board with Jack Miller. Look at those clouds over Jack Miller's right shoulder. They look pretty threatening. Simon Craig just saying that there are some horrible looking grey clouds looming large. Let's hope that they don't start chucking some water on this Phillip Island circuit, because we've got a cracking race unfolding here. Viñales, last year's race winner, being pressured by Marc Marquez. Marquez in the slipstream. Is he going to show Viñales a wheel into third corner? No, he's not going to be close enough.
They'll see those grey clouds as well as Rossi makes another move then. Good stuff from Valentino. He moves up ahead of Andrea Iannone, and the two Aprilias just starting to float backwards a bit here.
Quickest man on the circuit last time around was Cal Crutchlow in 3rd place. He was a 10th quicker again over Viñales. Joan Mir's getting some good pace as well. He's down into the 29s. That's a personal best lap from the Suzuki man as well.
There's still a big story coming here. These 3 are getting away. This is the battle for 4th. It's Rins, Rossi, Iannone and Dovi. Dovi now closing up on the tail of Andrea Iannone. Aleix Espargaro seems to have just hit a bit of a brick wall right now. He's struggling. Miller's right with him. Look at those clouds. They are coming in. 4 seasons in a day, it's known as, here over in Phillip Island. We could well see some rain. Don't forget, flag-to-flag races these, and will not be stopped for climatic conditions.
So the gap between Cal Crutchlow in 3rd and Alex Rins in 4th place, that's actually increasing. Crutchlow took 2/10 out of Rins in the first 2 sectors on this current lap, so Rins, having got to the front of this group, is actually losing time rather than gaining it with clear track ahead of him.
Rossi's got good pace here. You know, he had a couple of laps where I think he was just just getting caught up in a bit of traffic here and there, but he's got good rhythm right now.
And Viñales is starting to stretch away from Marquez, using that corner speed of the Yamaha through turn number 12. And he's got down to a 29.322. That's the fastest lap of the race from Maverick Viñales. Marquez did a 29.6, so Viñales was 0.3 of a second faster on that previous lap.
This is the battle then for fourth. Alex Rins on the factory Suzuki right now, just ahead of Rossi, Dovi and Iannone. So Dovi through on his old teammate now. In the background, Jack Miller has gone through on Aleix Espargaro, so the Australian is up into 8th. This is the battle for the lead though, of Maverick Viñales and Marc Marquez.
Yeah, Pecco Bagnaia is a man to keep an eye on. As we mentioned, he's just on another 130 flat. A lot faster than Aleix Espargaro on that last lap was Pecco Bagnaia, so he's having one of his best rides of his rookie season so far.
Shout out to Johann Zarco, by the way, in his first ever outing on a Honda. He's in 13th, he's actually catching Franco Morbidelli at the moment for 12th.
And what has happened to Jorge Lorenzo? We're not even at the halfway stage, or we're pretty much at the halfway stage. He's 30 seconds behind Maverick Viñales. He's losing more than 2 seconds a lap. He is 20 seconds behind Zarco, who's never raced a Honda before.
Yeah, well, that is not good, is it? I mean, that could be almost a minute by the end of the race.
Are there mitigating circumstances, or is he just absolutely confident, shot to smithereens?
We'll come around then, the final turn onto the home straight, and we are at halfway distance here in Australia. These two have asked big questions nobody else can answer.
Yeah,
Marc Marquez is staying with Maverick.
0.2 quicker than Viñales on that last lap. The gap down to just over a 10th. Cal Crutchlow now just struggling at this point to go with him. Valentino Rossi's fight back continues. He's moved into 4th place over Alex Rins.
Yes, and the Aprilias are just starting to find it tough going here in Australia as well, as Jack Miller goes through on Andrea Iannone. Here are the two Ducatis about to gang up on Alex Rins actually with Suzuki. There's Crutchlow in 3rd. There's Rossi, who's up into 4th then, ahead of Alex Rins.
Yeah, Dovizioso, we know he's the master tactician, the master of strategy. Is he just saved those tyres in the first half of the race? We're on board then with Johann Zarco on the Idemitsu LCR Honda. He's doing a really good job actually of keeping his old KTM teammate Pol Espargaro at bay.
Matt, he's lapping the same times as the guys in 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th is Zarco. I mean, that's just hats off. That's a brilliant effort.
This is a tremendous opportunity for him. Shop window time for Johann Zarco, trying to find well, he won't find a seat back in MotoGP next season unless there's a late reshotting of the pack, all the Jorge Lorenzo rumours that keep circulating. He's not a million miles away behind Franco Morbidelli. That would be a pretty decent scalp as well.
14 laps gone and he's got 20 seconds over Lorenzo.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Ouch.
Yes, that is going to sting in the extreme. Marquez in the slipstream, not close enough to attack Viñales down into Dewan Corner. The key for me now in this race is how Viñales is managing that soft front tyre. Marquez has got the hard front tyre on, so the conventional wisdom in as we get deep into this 27-lap Australian Grand Prix. Marquez should have the better endurance in that front tyre. Marquez will have the better braking stability with the hard front. Viñales with the soft front will have the better corner entry, the better turning and mid-corner, but it's going to be crucially the durability, because that soft tyre, Viñales is the only man out there on that soft front tyre. You've got to admire his desire. That was a bold move.
Look at Pecco Bagnaia. He's right up behind Miller again now. Pecco Bagnaia having the race of the season so far. He's up into 8th place, the number 63. The Italian rookie is on for his best result of 2019 right now.
Yeah, he's riding absolutely superbly. We haven't seen this. We knew that potential and talent was in there for Pecco Bagnaia. He's had a bit of bad luck. He's been a few too many gravel traps so far this year, but this is by far his best ride. He's now really putting pressure on Jack Miller and the two factory Ducatis ahead of him. Of course, let's not forget Pecco Bagnaia is on last year's GP18 machine.
Bagnaia went for a medium front and a hard rear tyre as well. This is the battle out front then. 16 laps now completed and there will be 11 to go across the line. Maverick Viñales leads. Look at the speed difference there as he gets into the slipstream for Marc Marquez. They're both still in the 129s. It's still Crutchlow third, Rossi, Rins, Dovi, Miller, Bagnaia. Dovi though goes up the inside of Rins into turn 1. The Italian moves up into 5th.
Do you know what? I thought when Rins got to the head of this group, Dovizioso, I thought he was having a look up the inside of Rossi at Southern Loop. Once Rins hit the front of this pack, I thought he had the pace to get away. Not to go with Cal Crutchlow, but thought he might be able to break away, but that has not been the case at all. And now he's under immense pressure from the likes of Miller and Bagnaia as well.
Into turn 4 we go. Rossi holds on there. Jack Miller gets aggressive with Alex Rins as well, so Miller's now up. One more spot into 6th.
He's getting a bit of a bloody nose here, is Alex Rins. He's dropping back through the pack like a bit of a stone because we know that Pecco Bagnaia has had the much better pace. He should make relatively light work of the blue Suzuki ahead of him.
There is Jack Miller right now. He's in 6th place. There is Pecco Bagnaia, his teammate. The Aprilias are still there. They're just behind this group that we're looking at on screen as Pecco Bagnaia now eyes up a move on Alex Rins.
What a difference a week makes in MotoGP. Andrea Iannone and Aleix Espargaro had an absolute disaster in Japan 7 days ago, so much so that Massimo Rivola spoke on their behalf. They didn't do any media debriefs, they were banned from talking to the press. He sent out a clear message to Aprilia engineers back in Nuale. Our reliability problems, our performance, not good enough. We need to improve. Romano Albiciano back in Nuale right now working on a radical overhaul for the 2020 RSGP, but this is the best we've seen from Aprilia in a long, long time. Dovizioso powers by Valentino Rossi's factory Yamaha, so Desmo Dovi now gets to the head of this second group. He's in 4th place.
We said earlier in the weekend that Joan Mir might have a good race. He's certainly proving that right now. He's got brilliant rhythm and he's about to try and find a way through on Aleix Espargaro.
This is running to a bit of a familiar theme for the factory Ducatis. Remember in Buriram and in Motegi, Dovizioso said he can't exploit new tyres. That's why sometimes he struggles in qualifying and in practice. He gets punted back down to 5th place now. That was a great move by Rossi on the brakes into turn number 4, but Dovizioso in Japan, he said it was only in the last 10 laps where he got some serious rhythm. It's a bit of a conundrum right now for the Gigi Dall'Igna's crew because they can't get that Ducati working in the first half of races.
The clouds are coming. We've got 10 laps to go and the teams are warming bikes up in pit lane. Is that a sign that we're going to see a few drops before the end of this race? That would certainly change things.
And Viñales has not been able to break away. He's not been able to make a decisive manoeuvre to break the attention of Marc Marquez, who's just sitting right there, a couple, 2 or 3 tenths right on Viñales' case. When we've had last lap deciders between Marc Marquez and a Yamaha rider in Misano and Buriram, it's been Fabio Quartararo that's been the man to take the fight to him. Marquez has prevailed on both occasions. Is he setting up another late hammer blow on another top Yamaha man with Maverick Viñales? Look at that, the power and the speed of the Ducati. Rossi just blown away down the start-finish straight. He said earlier on this weekend, if there's one thing he needs out of that Wisdar M1 next year, it's more horsepower, and that was a clear illustration. Any Yamaha engineer watching that will understand exactly why Valentino Rossi wants a few more ponies inside that four-cylinder motor, because he just got blitzed by Miller and Dovi there.
Yeah, Jack Miller's up into 5th place then, and now Pecco Bagnaia is eyeing up a move on the boss and goes through as well. The 3 Ducatis through on Valentino Rossi. He's going to sit his boss up, in fact, into turn 4. Bagnaia then moves up 1 spot ahead of Valentino Rossi. He moves up into 6th.
Yeah, and those pretty dark grey threatening clouds are still looming large over parts of this Phillip Island circuit. 9 laps to go, 8.5 to go here, and it's still dry, thankfully. Dovizioso then now, as he clicked into this traditional good pace in the second half of races, we know he's awesome at tyre management.
Braking hard down into turn 10. Jack Miller eyeing up a move on Andrea Dovizioso. He wants 4th place. There are the 2 factory Suzukis. They're currently in 9th and 10th, and here are your race leaders. Still the same gap. Viñales leads from Marquez. Crutchlow's in a bit of a lonely 3rd, just in the background there. We've not really spoken much about him, but he's not really in a race, as it were. He's just sitting there. Would still be an excellent performance from Cal Crutchlow were he to stay in 3rd place.
Absolutely awesome by Cal Crutchlow. I've just seen Jorge Lorenzo all on his lonesome come through turn number 4 and checked his progress. At the moment, he's about 2.6 seconds a lap slower than Marc Marquez on the exact same motorcycle.
Yes, he is stone last at the moment, unfortunately.
That cannot go on. I don't care what anybody says. That cannot go on from Honda's point of view. It can't go on from Jorge Lorenzo's point of view.
Here's a replay of the two men setting the pace here. I can just see from my commentary box window that Pecco Bagnaia has just gone up into 4th place. What a ride from the Italian rookie. These are the two leaders.
Yeah, that will not sit very well with Jack Miller and Andrea Dovizioso on the latest spec Ducati GP19. Pecco Bagnaia showing exactly why he was the Moto2 World Champion last year, exactly why he's in the VR46 Academy, and why Ducati think he's got a great shot of a factory ride in 2021.
Maverick Viñales there, just on a couple of corners, maybe not holding the line he wants to. Is that front soft tyre coming under question now? There will be 7 laps left here in Australia, and watch this, the speed that he's going to get. Marc Marquez is going to get in the bubble here. He may well have an opportunity into turn 1 to overtake.
Yeah, got a bit of a wheelie as well coming out the final corner there, Viñales. Marquez at the moment just happy to sit right on Viñales' tyre. Viñales is in that awful situation where every lap over the line you see +0 to 93. There is arguably the ride of the day so far. Pecco Bagnaia at the lead of this second group, this big second group. Cal Crutchlow's on his lonesome in 3rd, to be fair, but Bagnaia now in 4th place and looking to stretch Dovizioso Miller. There's a lot of experience behind Pecco Bagnaia. Let's not forget this young man is a rookie in MotoGP. And look at the number of Grand Prix appearances behind him. Dovizioso, Ross is making his 400th start. This has been a brilliant performance by the Italian.
Exceptional from him. There's a bit of a resurgence here from Andrea Iannone as well. He's moved up ahead of Valentino Rossi and both of the factory Suzukis. In fact, Juan Mir has just gone through on Valentino Rossi as well. So Mir is up into 8th place now. Rossi 9th. Alex Rins has been dumped to 10th. I mean, I've got to be honest. Viñales and Marquez out front. I expected that. The rest, quite frankly, there's a few outstanding rides here. I really didn't expect to see Pecco Bagnaia in this group. I didn't know whether I'd expect to see necessarily Cal as far ahead of these guys as Miller goes through on Dovi. Does he make it stick at turn 10? Yes, he does. The two Pramac Ducati guys then are 4th and 5th. Bagnaia 4th, Miller 5th.
Some of the rookies are performing absolutely awesome at the moment. Juan Mir has taken 8th place from Valentino Rossi. So Rossi, who led at the start of this Australian Grand Prix, that was as good as it got at the moment for the Doctor, because he's now slipping back into the clutches of Alex Rins. This is the battle for 10th place, and Rins has got 9th now. Is it the same old issue for Valentino Rossi as the race wears on? Rear grip has been the Achilles heel, particularly for Rossi on that factory Yamaha of late. It looks like he's just struggling at this phase of the Grand Prix. 5 or 6 laps to go is where he really starts to fade. Looks like we're getting a bit of a repeat of the history here.
Well, the thing is as well, Matt, the Yamaha down on top speed, and if you're suffering with rear grip, that means you're not getting onto the start-finish straight as fast.
Yep.
And ultimately, he's just getting eaten alive then on the start-finish straight. It's sort of a catch-22, really.
So Fabio Quartararo could not hold off the brilliant world champion in Bazzano or in Buriram this year. Can Maverick Viñales do it and win for the 2nd year in a row here in Phillip Island? He's only won once before this season, Viñales. That was at the Dutch TT in Assen.
There aren't always them. I can't actually think of too many times I've seen Marc Marquez and Maverick Viñales properly going at it.
Was that a couple of small rain spots on the camera lens there, or was my eyes just deceiving me? Marquez then, can he just sit there? Looks like he's backing out of it at the end of the straight. Simon Crayford observing that down from pit lane, saying that Mark's he's just sitting up, just sitting up at the bubble, just waiting. He's just keeping that pressure on Viñales. He'll know that Maverick knows he's right there. Viñales will be able to hear him.
Marc Marquez is waiting for his opportunity to pounce. Meanwhile, this is the scrap for 4th place. Bagnaia still clear of Miller.
There's a good battle going on for 13th place. Yes, it's way down the field, but there's a bit of pride at stake there because it's between Pol Espargaro and Johan Zarco. How much do you think Johan Zarco wants to beat the factory KTM out there today?
Yeah, that would be a statement and a half, wouldn't it? Through turn 4 we go. Maverick Viñales just cannot shake off the interests of Marc Marquez.
And this is what he does. He spent the whole of the Misano race, the whole of the Buriram race, just stalking Quartararo, working out exactly the strengths and weaknesses of the Frenchman and his Yamaha package underneath him. He's doing the exact same thing here right now to Maverick Viñales, just examining him at close quarters to see exactly where he can make his move and pounce and potentially notch up a 5th consecutive victory in this 2019 MotoGP World Championship. If he does so, of course, he will move ahead of Aussie legend Mick Doohan on 55 Premier Class victories. That will move him out right into 3rd place in the all-time Premier Class winners list, only behind Giacomo Agostini and Valentino Rossi. You've got to say, it looks like it's coming. It's coming.
Across the line we go. There are 4 laps left. Look at Marc Marquez. He pulls alongside, but he's not going for it right now. There's an opportunity there for Marc again to go through, and he decides not to. Could he get close enough to the tail of Maverick to pull out the move before the finish line? That might be a bit more tricky. But Maverick is going to be asked some serious questions in the last couple of laps of this, and is it going to hold out here weather-wise? Have we just dodged a bullet in terms of the rain? The bikes are ready, but I tell you what, it would be some risk and gamble for anyone to make a change now. Even if the rain did come down, it would have to absolutely hammer down. Simon, how's it feeling weather-wise down there at the moment in pit lane?
No, it's not. Sorry, yeah. I would say it's the most dangerous period we've seen for rain so far this race. I'm literally waiting for it to start over around Lukey Heights area.
Wow. Well, those dark grey clouds have been lingering around for pretty much the entirety of this Australian Grand Prix so far. Viñales and Marquez drop down into turn number 10. This is lap number 24. There's going to be 3 to go very, very shortly here in Australia. It's a battle of the 2 Spaniards, Yamaha versus Honda, Viñales versus Marquez.
Around turn 12 we go. There will be 3 laps remaining when they come across the line this time. Marc Marquez again able to get into the slipstream. He's got more power under his belt here, and he's pulled up alongside Maverick again and decides to back out of it. Jack Miller's gone up into 4th place, by the way. He's ahead of Pecco Bagnaia now, so Miller up into 4th, and that's about the best he can hope for.
He waited, he pounced on the last lap against Quartararo in Misano and Buriram. Is he going to do the exact same tactic and strategy here? Jack Miller's got to the head of this big, big battle rage for 4th place. This would be an outstanding job in front of his home crowd for Jack Miller. 4th, top Ducati he's on course to be right now.
I'm trying to work out of this group who I'm more impressed with, Andrea Iannone on the factory Aprilia or the rookie Pecco Bagnaia.
Well, I'm going to call it a dead heat because they've both been absolutely sensational.
Absolutely incredible from Iannone on the factory Aprilia. Through turn 4, Miller though at the front of this group. I'm so surprised we've not seen any rain yet because they look so aggressive, those grey clouds.
Penny for Alex Rinder's race thoughts post Grand Prix if he sits behind his teammate Joan Mir at the checkered flag. Did not see that one coming. Mir overhauling Rins. When Rins got to that 4th place, about half race distance, I thought he was going to just clear off, not have the pace to catch Crutchlow, but he really, really has struggled now. He's behind his teammate Joan Mir as well.
Marc Marquez again, so fast into this final sector. Around the left-handers, which he loves so dearly, and onto the home straight. 2 laps left here in Australia. Still nothing changing.
There's the dreaded sign, +0 Marquez. He's seen that sign now for pretty much the whole of this Australian Grand Prix. Viñales has led it for quite some distance, but he just has not been able to make that break like he did 1 year ago.
Yamaha versus Honda, we've seen them battle over the years so many times. More recently, Honda wins a lot more than Yamaha. Maverick here looking for back-to-back wins in Australia as Dovi now goes through into 4th ahead of Jack Miller.
What a race this is for 4th place. It's anybody's. Miller, Dovi, Bagnaia, Mir, Iannone are still in the hunt. Simon, your observations on what's going on at the front of this race? It's been an epic battle so far between Viñales and Marquez. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I'm nervous because Marc is clearly rolling off the throttle the second half of that straight, and he will be able to pass. But the thing is, we don't know is how much Maverick is also managing. We know how fast he is, so he could actually, like if Marc tries to pass, Maverick might be able to step up another level and run. I really hope that's going to happen and we see a proper battle.
Well, thanks for that, Simon. We're about to find out as we come around the final sector to start the final lap of the race here in Australia.
I think there might have been contact at turn 4. I don't know whether Andrea Iannone had a wing whipped off that factory Aprilia. Something came off somebody somewhere in turn 4 in all the chaos.
Here we go then, the final lap of the Australian Grand Prix. In the slipstream comes Marc Marquez. He's not rolling off now. He goes through and he leads the Grand Prix on the last lap into turn 1.
Into Doohan corner, Marquez sweeps and Viñales is going to try and retaliate, use the corner spin of the Yamaha into the southern loop. Marquez slams the door shut, he stands firm. He did this to Quartararo in Misano, he did it to Quartararo in Thailand. Is he going to do it to Viñales in Australia?
Here we go around turn 3, Stoner corner, and up towards turn 4. There's an opportunity here for Maverick Viñales if he can get close enough. Marc's trying everything to pull out the gap here. It's not going to be done here into turn 4.
Tight defensive line run by Marquez into turn number 4. There's no way through for Maverick Viñales at turn 4. They'll sweep through 5 and then head down into Siberia. Bit of a twitch from Viñales on that rear tyre. Marquez keeps him covered as they head deep into this second sector.
He does this time and time again, Marc Marquez. He's asking all the questions. Has Viñales got an answer? We're through sector 3 now. This is the area where Maverick is so strong. Can he close the gap to make a move into turn 10?
It's going to be turn 10 surely, because he's not going to be strong enough on the start-finish line. Here he comes. He's lining it up through Lukey Heights. It's now or never surely for Viñales. He's down! He's gone down! He lost the rear coming through Lukey Heights. He's never going to be on the podium. Marquez is going to win in Australia. Disaster for Viñales. Unbelievable.
Coming around the final corner then. Marc doesn't even know that Maverick's there yet.
He won't know, he will not know.
The checkered flag is out here in Australia. Crutchlow's going to surely take second place. It's going to be 55 Premier Class wins for Marc Marquez here in Australia. Second place, we wait. Is
Jack Miller going to be on the podium in Australia? Jack Miller can be on the podium in his home Grand Prix. Crutchlow takes second with Viñales down. Jack Miller's going to be on the podium in his home Grand Prix. Jack Miller's in third place. What a result for the Australian. The crowd at turn 4, I can see the Miller Army, they're going completely crazy. What a final lap here. Jack Miller's over the moon. Jumping for joy, jumping Jack Flash. He's on the podium here in Phillip Island. What a finale to that Australian Grand Prix.
Absolutely incredible. Jack Miller makes it, but at the expense of this man. He was pushed into this.
Yeah,
he was stretched.
You called it, Steve. He was trying to line this up through Lukey Heights. The rear just stepped out from underneath him. Down he went. Late drama here.
God, look at that, as soon as he went for the
Big
brakes.
old smash that for Maverick Viñales.
You know, the bike nearly wiped out Marc Marquez.
Marc Marquez nearly got cleaned out there. That would have meant Cal Crutchlow was going to be victorious. Look at that, that's going to be a massive rebuild. Lynn Jarvis can't believe it, cannot believe it. And when all is said and done, Marc Marquez is victorious yet again. He was pushed hard by that man, Maverick Viñales. What a difference a year makes for Viñales. Victorious here last year, out of victory contention on the last lap. Cal Crutchlow wasn't even in this Grand Prix last year after that season-ending horrible leg break. He's on the podium in second place. And Jack Miller, he is going to be absolutely delirious. I can see actually now Jack Miller, he's coming towards where his family and fan club are camped, and there's going to be some pretty special celebrations going on. Jack Miller, the first Australian on the podium in his home round since he did it in Moto3 back in 2014. He's getting the Australian flag, but this man is the master yet again. Marc Marquez, absolutely phenomenal. What a race that was.
And it's just started to rain.
Oh, dearie me. Oh, what late drama here. I'm overjoyed to see Jack Miller. He's jumped into the crowd. There you go then, the most Grand Prix victories in the Premier class. It was only a few weeks ago that Marc Marquez reached a half century. It's now 5 on the trot, his best run since 2014. There is Jack Miller.
That's brilliant to see there with all of his fans, his family, friends.
Well, he's got Thriller on the helmet, Thriller on the backside, and it was a thriller, a late thriller by Jack Miller to get on the podium. You've got to say it was cruel for Maverick Viñales. We can go down to pit lane though and join Simon Cravar, who's got the boss of the master, Alberto Pujo. I'm sure is delighted. A Honda 1-2 here in Phillip Island.
Wow, Alberto, what do you think of how Marc managed that?
He was very, very good. He did a fantastic race. He studied Viñales all the race, and finally he tried and he did it. So there's nothing to say, just congratulate him.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I can no longer see the Jack Miller fans because he's done the most enormous burnout and there's just smoke everywhere now. So credit to Jack Miller, but What more can you say about this man? Simon Crayford just saying it's raining lightly in pit lane now. Talk about doing some bullet dodging. This was the key moment last lap. That was all because Viñales knew, really, with the top speed of the Honda, he had that one chance on the brakes down into turn number 10, and it all went horribly wrong coming over Lukey Heights. Big crash that for Maverick. I'm happy to say he was quickly back on his feet. A totaled Monster Energy Yamaha Wisdar M1. That will be packed in the crate and rebuilt on Wednesday in Malaysia.
Thoughts on this crash, Simon?
Are we looking at Viñales?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could see as soon as Marc went past that Viñales had no rear tyre left. He had the speed, but Marc had managed the rear better, or whatever, the different manufacturers use it different, but Viñales had nothing left, and you saw that when the tyre let go, when it wouldn't have normally.
Well, the scenes here, thanks for that, Simon, are unbelievable. He does it again against the odds. How does he get, where does he get this motivation from to keep winning like this? Brilliant scenes further behind. Jack Miller, there's going to be some celebrations tonight, I tell you, in Australia with the Miller clan. And I've got to say, well done to Cal Crutchlow. In 2 days' time, he will turn 34. And I'll hold my hands up and say, I wasn't 100% sure when he told me yesterday that in the dry he had podium pace, whether or not that would come off. He had a lonely old race there. That would have been quite a long one for Cal Crutchlow, but he's done it. Let's hear from Francesco Guidotti, the Pramac team boss up at. He's over the moon with Jack Boy.
Francesco, Jack on the podium on your bike.
Yeah, finally he got it. We got it. Tough, very tough race, but yeah, ended up in the best way possible.
And Pecco?
Pecco, what a race, unbelievable. It was fantastic, really fast, consistent, and I think he was the rapid for the Ducati guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, a huge credit has to go to Pecco Bagnaia, a career best fourth for him. Juan Mir as well in fifth, and Andrea Iannone on the Factory of Aprilia, 6th place here today.
Absolutely brilliant that by Andrea Iannone. Get in there, Jackie boy. I could hear one of the mechanics down there saying that it was a thriller from Miller. On the podium, you have to be there to pick up the pieces. Maverick Viñales was down on the floor at turn 9, and there was Jack Miller. There's his manager, Akiayo, Pramac Ducati. What a podium for them, of course, in the Australian Grand Prix there, the title sponsors of.
Probando backup.
There's a track invasion already beginning here as well, and that's probably down to Mr. Miller being on the podium. Here's the chest cam from Tom. It's Jack's 5th podium in the Premier class.
If you want to know how special that was from Andrea Iannone, I make that only the 5th top 6 that Aprilia have ever had in MotoGP. They are great buddies, aren't they? Of course, Cal Crutchlow and Jack Miller, the best of mates, the best of buddies. They'll enjoy the podium celebrations coming up a little bit later on.
Yeah, that's fantastic to see. They really are great bosom buddies, aren't they? Marquez and Crutchlow. Further down the order, beyond Iannone, it was Dovi, Rossi, Rins, Aleix Espargaro, Morbidelli, Espargaro. Zarco had a great ride, by the way. He just finished a 10th behind Paul Espargaro. Carol Abraham was 14th. He picked up a point as well as Cyrene.
Oh, good to see they can forget that contact at Lukey Heights, then Marquez and Crutchlow. That was pretty aggressive by Marquez. Jorge Lorenzo finished over 1 minute and 6 seconds behind the race winner, Marc Marquez. You talk about mixed emotions and contrasting fortunes for the Repsol Honda team. And when you think about it, you know, Petrucci out, Dovizioso only 7th, Viñales out late on and Rossi only 8th. Marquez and that team championship, Repsol Honda are only 1 point behind Ducati now in the team championship. Triple Crown very much on. Congratulations to that young man who we've just seen as well. There were some outstanding rides, so many stellar rides to pick from in that race. Juan Mir there, a season best, career best 5th place for him. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The rookies really excelled today with Pecco Bagnaia in 4th place. Maverick Viñales, well, all he can do is contemplate what might have been. He fought a great fight, but it wasn't enough. So many times over the last few years, it hasn't been enough to beat Marc Marquez. I can see there Jack Miller's proud mum, Sonia Miller, there in the cap. Gigi Dell'Igna comes down to congratulate Jack Miller as well. Top Ducati here in Australia. What a performance. Yeah, that means a lot. That's got to be the first Aussie on an Australian Grand Prix podium since Casey Stoner, hasn't it, surely?
Yeah, 100%. This is going to hurt to watch this from Viñales' watch as well.
I mean, can you believe that? Ducati team lead the team championship, 409 points. Repsol Honda are second on 408, and 375 of those, 375 have been collected by just one man. There is Peter Miller, father of Jack. I think it's fair to say there's going to be quite a raucous party somewhere on the island tonight.
Here is Johan Zarco. He finished 13th. He was just behind Morbidelli and Aleix and Pol Espargaro. I think he should be very proud of his job done here this weekend.
Well, he's gained a lot of experience. He's never raced a Honda before, never gone that kind of distance on race tyres on the Honda before. He would have loved to have beaten Pol Espargaro, wouldn't he? But here he comes then to speak to Simon Crowford. Jack Miller on the podium in his home Grand Prix here in Australia. He's pumped. Jack Miller, a thriller from the Miller in Australia. He's in Parc Fermé with Simon.
It's a really fight for that one. But you put yourself in the position to get that podium, and how does it feel at home?
Yeah, I saw those three bolt, well, especially Marc and Maverick bolt, and I knew on the grid that they were on the softs because they all swapped. And yeah, just managed the race. Tried not to push too early like I've done in the past, and yeah, I got to fourth in the end there, and I thought, you know, fourth's probably going to be the best I can do here, just defend your position. And then, to my surprise, on the last lap came around, I just saw dust, you know, over the top of Lukey, and I'm like, oh, who's that? I saw it was Maverick. I said, holy, I'm in third now. And then I just defended the last two corners, and here we are. No, it's amazing. You know, we've done a lot of work all weekend and trying to establish a base setting with not much track time. So thanks to the team, they really had to work overtime this weekend and changing the livery and whatnot. It's a great day, you know. It's not a win, but it feels like it a little bit.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations to Jack Miller. His army of fans are going to go home very, very happy tonight. I think it's fair to say that Jack's been doing quite a lot of shouting inside his helmet. He all sounds hoarse when he comes to the podium, doesn't he, Jack? You know that he likes to have a good old scream and shout inside his helmet when he's on the box.
Absolutely, and he had to work for it here on the last lap as well. That's a moment where Andrea Dovizioso, look at how much time he lost there. He went wide, lost 3 places, and Giacomo Agostini there going over, copping a kiss as well from
Paolo Campinotti, of course, the CEO of Pramac. He's absolutely ecstatic as well. There is Jack Miller. Proud day for him and his family to be on the podium in MotoGP here in Australia. Maverick Viñales, well, he fought so hard, tried to get on the inside of Marc Marquez, coming through Lukey Hartis, then perhaps attack him on the brakes into turn 10, but this man is just so strong. What about this? Cal Crutchlow, a couple of days ahead of his 34th birthday, and what an early birthday present for Cal on the podium in Australia. He's with Simon in Parc Fermé.
Outstanding ride, Cal, from start to finish. Mark pulled that really hard move on you. It lost you some time and position, but you fought back, got the podium. You've had a lot. How special is this one?
Yeah, great. You know, I knew coming into today that I had the pace to be on the podium no matter what. From Friday's free practice, I'm really pleased with my team. We've worked hard for this. 3 podiums in a year is always good. It's unfortunately Maverick fell off, but I was still on the podium, and we have to be happy with our pace today. As I said, congratulations to the team in Honda. I didn't have the grip or the bike under me to be able to go with Mark and Maverick, so I had a big gap behind. So I was really happy with my pace. The last 5 laps, the rear tyre fell to pieces, and I was just literally riding home. Then the last lap started raining, and I said no, just doing some drops. But yeah, really pleased. So glad to get a podium here in Australia after what happened last year. At one point, I didn't think I was coming back, so to come back to the podium is great. I want to say hi to Lucy and Will at home and miss them lots, and can't wait to see them in 10 days.
Big congratulations.
Cheers. Thank you.
Awesome job, Cal. Fantastic performance. Yeah, who'd have thought 1 year ago he was lying in a Melbourne hospital bed wondering whether his career was actually over. And here he is 12 months later celebrating a famous podium. I'm sure watching back at home, wife Lucy and daughter Willow will be super proud of the job hubby and daddy have just produced here around this famous Phillip Island circuit. But for the 5th race in a row in 2019, he's won another last lap duel against the Yamaha. We're going to hear very shortly from Marc Marquez. Valentino Rossi, well, he made the early running, the perfect start to his 400th Grand Prix start. Not the ending he would have wanted though. Rossi came over the line in 8th place. 15 seconds he was behind Marquez at the checkered flag, but he was really strong at the start. But here he is then, your 2019 Australian Grand Prix winner, the Wizard of Oz here in Phillip Island. Marc Marquez with Simon in Parc Ferme.
Mark, talk us through how you managed that race. Was there periods of it that were more difficult than others?
I mean, the most difficult period is when Viñales start to push a lot, very hard, very fast in the front, and this was the most critical point for me. But I knew that if I didn't give up these 4 or 5 laps, will be able. Will be possible the victory. Sorry, because and yeah, part of that the weekend was crazy. I mean, usual weekend here in Phillip Island, rain, mixed conditions, cold, wind. But okay, all the reps from the team did a great job. I mean, it was incredible, and yeah, we choose a gamble. I mean, because we were with the soft rear, and in the end was completely destroyed. But okay, able to win the race.
Congratulations.
Yeah, huge congratulations to Marc Marquez. That's his 16th podium in 17 races this year, his 11th victory. This is the incident of the race start, by the way, a huge high side for Danilo Petrucci. That will have hurt. I hope the Italian's okay. And Fabio Quartararo getting wiped out there as well. It looked like he was on his way to the grass as well. Big Grand Prix coming up for the Petronas team next week, so hopefully they're all okay. Let's have a look at it from Alex Rin's perspective. You're going to see a bike ping up in the air in a moment, just on the right. Ooh, ouch. That looked really, really nasty for Danilo Petrucci, so I hope the big man's okay. That's not the way to celebrate your birthday weekend, is it? This is from Marquez's look as well. Oh, the more you watch it, actually, the tougher it is to see. Some outstanding rides further down the order. We'll get the classification for you in a moment as well, but it's another victory for Marc Marquez, his 81st career victory, his 55th, of course, in the Premier class, the most successful Honda rider ever. What an accomplishment, what an achievement, as these three make their way up the stairs and onto the podium. It's a popular podium, of course. The crowd making their way over to the start-finish straight shortly, so they're going to be giving Jack a good cheer. Cal Crutchlow popular in these parts as well. Carmelo Espeleta there, Dorna CEO even saying very happy to see Jack up there. The Repsol Honda team, they know where Parc Ferme is. They've been there a fair few times this year. Giacomo Agostini coming over to congratulate the top three as well. Here he comes then. A hero reception. It's like a rock star here in Phillip Island. Some great noise, great atmosphere for these MotoGP riders. It's great for these guys to get a reception like that, you know. They're racing at knife edge, at speeds that you can't even comprehend at times, with it raining at the end, with no tyre left. Just great for them to all receive a reception like this. It's a shame we can't have this at every round, isn't it? Paul Little, the AGPC chairman, handing over the Constructor Trophy to Repsol Honda. And what about that team number at the moment? In the team championship, Ducati 1 point clear of Repsol Honda, going into Malaysia next weekend. Well, how ironic that Paolo Campinotti, the Pramac CEO, is going to hand over the third place trophy to Jack Miller. It's his 15th of his career, his 5th overall, and his first in Australia as a MotoGP rider. He's the first Aussie on the podium in the Premier class since Casey Stoner. FIM Oceania president hands over second place to Cal Crutchlow. That's his 19th MotoGP podium.
For the winner, a MotoGP legend, a 15-time Grand Prix world champion, Giacomo Agostini, to hand over the trophy to Marc Marquez.
Big smiles as one legend hands over a trophy to another. The 15 times world champion comes out. He's just forgotten to hand over the winner's trophy to Marc Marquez as well. That's his 81st career win and the 55th in the Premier class, overtaking Mick Doohan. Marc Marquez is your race winner here in Phillip Island, Australia. For the 11th time this year, Marc Marquez stands on the top step of a MotoGP podium.
The podium is yours. Let the celebrations begin.
It's Prosecco time here in Australia. The 11th win of 2019 for Marc Marquez. That's 375 points out of a possible 425. His World Championship lead increases, not that it matters because he's got it sewn up, to 135 points. But what scenes of jubilation and what an atmosphere the Aussie fans are creating over on the podium as well. It's time for a shoey. There's going to be some party here tonight for Jack Miller and co, that's for sure. So the top three then stand on the top step. Marc Marquez, your winner, Cal Crutchlow second, and the Aussie Jack Miller in third place. The celebrations will be monumental tonight in the Miller camp, that's for sure.